Greetings, Saber fans. It seems like I just can't get enough of these Derelict builds. I built another one. As you can see, I have all the parts here. Here's the last replica I built. This is a fully loaded Crystal Focus 6.5, the works build. I have another video on this one. But after I finished this one, there's a few things that I thought that I could do better. And so maybe I'm obsessed, but I decided to do another one. So here's the parts. I'm going to do something a little bit different this time. Instead of showing the completed saber, I was kind of what you saw in the last video. What I wanted to do was show how I put this all together. So here we have the parts. This is a MHS rib section. It's been turned down, milled for the hole, some holes drilled in it and cut off. And this fits up into the Graflex front. Now this Graflex front, I've already have it all assembled here. But it has the Graflex Saber Shop, custom Saber Shop blade holder that I had done some work to give a little more interest. And of course the shroud cut out, which I transferred my pattern that I had gotten from studying the sloth furnace derelict. And I used the center line here, and then a center line off the back, and then a line off of here for this line, and a line off of here for this line. And then, I got these other angles. I did them to what looked visually pleasing, this angle and so forth, and left a little bit of a overlap here, as you can see. That's necessary for when this piece fits up into here. It gives it some stability, so it reduces the rotational motion. You have the linear motion. The rotational motion this way has been eliminated. And when you put the box on, like so, with the screws, that eliminates the twisting motion and the translation this way. And so the way I assemble this is I would wire up my LED, put it in there, have the wires coming out. Same with my switch that I'd opened here, and the wires would be coming out through here. And there's a relief here, so that the wires can go back in. And then I would put this on. This is the order that I do it. I find it's easier this way to get everything secure. Let me line up that hole here. There you go. My switch would be pre-wired. I pre-wire everything before I even put it in, and I check the lengths and clearances on my wires and on my tabs and so forth. Now with this illuminated LED, for the battery, the 18500 battery, that will fit up from about here all the way up into about this far in or so. It fits right underneath that switch. And so if you don't cut the leads, the solder leads, just enough so that the battery can get in there. Otherwise it won't fit. It won't fit up in there. And then, now I didn't tighten that all the way. I just kind of got it down, and then I'm pulling this way a little bit because this tightens it all together. You'll feel it tend to tighten up. So these need to be done. Don't tighten that all the way down. Tighten this one a little bit so that everything's nice and flush so it doesn't twist while you put it together. It won't if you do it right. Alright. And that's not over tight, that's just like that. So that eliminates this motion, translation, and then all the wires would be coming out now this way. Then the next step what I would do is I would have my chassis piece. I would wire up my recharge port, and the recharge port threads into here. So it would be I wire directly to the battery, and then what I usually do is create a connector to the Crystal Focus. So this would be direct wire to the battery, but then I'd have a connector going to the Crystal Focus. And so as you're twisting, as you're threading this in, the battery, of course, will be turning with it. So it's a bit of a trick. And then you get this about not quite flush to this. Then I would feed my battery up in through here, this following behind, like so. Line up that hole. Hey, it lined up the first time. Like that. Then I would continue to thread this through all the way as far as it'll go. You'll be, well, actually the battery wouldn't have been threaded through. The battery will be hanging out this way. And as you do this, the battery, of course, will have to compensate for the rotation. And then once I got that through, like that, that will automatically align the rice port where the rice port goes. And so the rice port must go in after. And so now I have the battery here, like my finger, be about there. Then all my other wires will be coming through. I pre-wire my crystal focus, so the crystal focus to the color extender, which rests in here with the facing down, so it'll be flat on the top, and the two power regulators will be facing down into the cup of the holder. And then that would be directly wired to the crystal focus too. So they'll be like this, basically. It's color extender, crystal focus, and all pre-wired. And then that would be sitting loosely, like, you know, the crystal focus loosely. And then I take all of this, and I get my helping hands, and I directly wire my color leads to my LEDs to the color extender and to the crystal focus, so they're kind of coming in through here, and have the crystal focus and the color extender sitting out here. And I solder directly to there. And then I will lay the color extender here. The crystal focus will follow. We'll clip into these clips. I will run my retaining zap strap here around. Crystal focus won't be snapped in yet. It'll be kind of out of the way. And you run this through. You tighten it down, and you notice that this is a recess, so that'll tighten down, hold it. The crystal focus will be like this. Color extender's under here like this. The color extender should fit right up underneath that little thing there, and then I'll strap that down. The battery will be here. I'll have the board connector from the battery to the board. That will be connected here, so it'll fit. So you have battery, connector, color extender all on the bottom. Crystal focus on top. It'll come out to about that far, and you have enough clearance over the top of this for the SD card. And then once I have that, the speaker's pre-wired. The rice port, the leads for the rice port will come out here. I will wire the rice port right in place here. Put some pliers, mount it, screw it down, secure it. Speaker leads will come up through here. The speaker's already been set up as a connector like in my other view. Wire up the connector, and there you have it. It should all be wired up, be snapped in place. Then what I would do with this build, it's a pretty tight build, so once I have all that, of course when I was doing that, this would be here like this, so I'm doing it all with this, like this kind of motion. All the wires coming out up through here, out to here, do all my soldering out here, kind of get all the wires, kind of tease them back. They'll kind of S-curve back on the other side of the battery over here. It should be snug enough fit that there won't be any movement, but if you feel like it, you can get some rubber and kind of wrap the battery like I did, and that'll keep it, when it's in here, it'll keep it all in, so everything gets kind of fed in. I line up this red mark. It's also notched with this red knot mark, which also has a witness mark on it. With everything there, speaker will be already hooked in, and this has lined with tape, so it's not going to short out. And then carefully making sure my wires are keeping fed properly. And that's a very tight fit, by the way. A little bit of force, but once you get a little rotation on it, it goes right in. Yeah, it's harder with my hands a little bit sweaty. And then that would line up like so, and then of course this would turn over and it'd be lined up perfectly. For some reason that is giving me trouble, didn't just a minute ago. Oh, and when you're turning this thing, don't twist with this. The only thing that's really holding this together is that screw and this, and tension. Always turn from here. And because my hands are wet, I'm out in the garage and I'm a bit sweaty. It's only like 100 degrees here. So let me take this off camera real quick. You can see that will line up with that. I overshot. There it is. And then this will go over. You don't want to remove these screws. They're filed just to be under the threads. This is they help hold the sleeve on to the MHS extension. It's a really tight piston fit, but you don't want to remove them, because if that comes off, it might be difficult to reline all that. This is the exact procedure I used for my last build, and it worked out really well. And then this should line up with the screw, which it does, and the recharge port lines up perfectly. And there you have it. That's, oh yeah, a couple of last things. It needs extra long kill key because of the depth here. So I made one of those. You can put a decorative cap on that. Then get a little super glue or your favorite adhesive. Dab that on here, just a little bit right into here. And then slide that in there. There's a groove for it. Fits perfect, keeps it from motion. Let that super glue will dry. It'll be behind there. This will still move. If you want, you can put a little bit of glue onto that too, right there, which is what I did with mine. Just a dab. You can get it off later if you don't like it, but then it's all together. An alternate way to put it together would be to put it all together, feed it through, have the wires out, open these two parts, wire to your LED, or if you can fit connectors, you can do that, but I couldn't fit connectors. And then close it back up. But there you have it. That's how I put together my Derelict build. Now I have two. Thanks for watching.